So when I met my partner, it's actually kind of interesting because it's not exactly fairy tale, and maybe there's a reason for that. So when I met my partner, we hated each other immediately, and so it was one of those things where after the first date, I told my friend, I was like, "Don't ever do that to me again. Like you owe me. That was awful." And again, this was the era of there was no cell phones, but you can imagine I had a pager, and several weeks went by after that first date. And so I started my new job, and again, I'm still living at home, and it's kind of hard to get adjusted to. And one night I decided, let me call them, the person that became my partner. Let me call them and see if they're available for another date. Let's give this another shot. And at the same time, my pager was going off, and I remember looking at the pager number and seeing the college phone number, and thinking, well, that's weird because I didn't call them. And again, so I was in the car at the time. It won't surprise you that it was a Camaro. And I ended up going to a payphone and calling them from a payphone and saying, hey, you just paged me and I was kind of calling you at the same time, and do you want to go on a second date? And so the second date really turned out much better than the first date. But in terms of making a commitment to somebody, it was one of those things where it was an alignment of interests, where it was what I call it is like a contour of needs, right? So there were certain needs that I had in terms of companionship, values, what it's like to spend time with somebody, and they had similar contours, and they lined up. And so it made sense to just kind of say, all right, let's take this one step at a time, and let's go from going on dates occasionally to, hey, you need a place to live, I need a place to live, I'm tired of living with my parents, it's cheaper to split rent in a 1-bedroom than it is a 2-bedroom. And then it becomes, hey, this relationship is now contingent on whether or not we have a lease renewal. And then, hey, this relationship is now contingent on whether or not the apartment lets us have a dog. So maybe we should buy a house so we could have a dog. And if we're going to buy and so you can kind of see how a snowball rolls downhill like that, and it just picks up momentum. And then next thing you know, a chunk of your life goes by and you realize that, oh, here's where I am. And so that happened both professionally and personally for me, and it was really easy because everything fell in line with what is the responsible thing to do. And I had positioned myself on this path where I was kind of following the current of everybody else. And so it was really easy that when that gut check kind of came up of, am I doing the right thing? Instead of asking myself that internally, I would orient with everything around me and say, well, look, I'm in pace with everybody else. This must be where I'm supposed to be. And so that was really easy for stuff to just kind of move ahead like that.